Testing. Okay. Cool. Oh, hello, Rez. God, this tab thing is messing me up. As sad. As. Nice to see you're in a good mood. Let me get situated here. Okay, let's see. Steam needs to close. What is this? Oh, hey. Can I add you to the viewers list here? I can't believe you're not here yet. Should have added you earlier. Huh. Yes, just chugging along. Where is my rolling? Did it start? Yeah, okay. Isn't that... That's great. Is that great? That's kind of great, I guess. It's good not to be at the bottom, but if you're at the bottom, then the only way is up. Either way is great. Everything is great. Everything is great. Everything is fine. Fine, just fine. Fine, fine, just fine. Okay. What is today? Today is study first and then application after, if possible, but I don't think I'm going to learn enough to really apply properly, but it is what it is. We do things, and I mean, that's about it. What comes after, sometimes not really in your control. Oh man. Okay, lines are clear. What do I do now? Let's do main block then first. Do the whole block and Yeah, primarily recently it's just been more of an acknowledgement of the fact that it's not necessarily a technical skill issue, it's more of just a lack of commitment perhaps to really to draw. I mean, it's still kind of a skill issue. I feel like the main problem is that you have all these ideas and visions and stuff, and art is inherently just a slice of that whole thing. Whenever you draw one thing, it's just one frame of this movie that you're seeing in your head. And that inherently means that it's going to be somewhat limiting, right? You're going to compromise and it's not going to be as good. So unless you really have a need to show someone your ideas. But if you're just doing it for yourself, like, it's like, it's a lot of work for like, not a lot of benefit sometimes. But yeah, I guess it's still a skill issue, huh? Like if you're good enough, then I guess it wouldn't be as tedious and it would be a lot easier maybe to represent certain things that you have in your head accurately, or more accurately, rather. Have you done anything exciting recently, Raz? Any new countries? Or, new OCs, new ideas, perhaps? Oh my god. Doesn't let me. Okay, there you go. Oh wow, okay. No, I see. No to the OCs, right? This is just very exciting. A lot of traveling. Oh wow, okay. Iceland. I don't think I've ever been to Europe. Uh, is Iceland Europe? Oh yeah, it is, right? Shit. Wait. Yeah, no. Greenland is the one that's over here. Where's my 14? 14 is fine. Mhm. 4 weeks of testing. Like tests. Traveling, yeah. I don't know. Like it's been a while. Hey, wait, hang on. Let me think about this. I feel like I've never really traveled to my traveling has mostly been like going back to China to see my grandparents and stuff like that. It's not really been like a travel kind of thing until like that one time I went to Japan, and then we kind of did like the travel thing. But I think the time that I've enjoyed the most is just being in Tokyo by myself with no itinerary and literally just going out buying bentos and just coming back and watch YouTube in Japan. But in Japan, it's like that one. It's like those YouTube shorts. It's like thing, and then thing in Japan, and everybody goes crazy. Kind of like that. Shit, I did not finish drawing the lines here. What was this? What? Wait, mine doesn't even line up. Okay. Internship for professor, so I don't. Oh, I see. Dang, that is very exciting, though. You get to travel. All expenses paid, I hope. Well, at least the flight is reimbursed, I hope. Given the recent events. Things are not cheap. Okay. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, like, I don't think anyone's beating that resume of yours at this rate. Holy shit. So many places. I've been getting... Well, YouTube's trying to tell me something or something, but like, YouTube Shorts, Reddit, all these places are showing me... Case... Well, what is it? Like, what's the word? Empirical... Like, people talking about their own experiences of, like, not being able to find jobs and this and that. 4.0 GPAs come out, I can't find a job for like over a year, ends up working at Walmart for like the next 2 years, and then they're like, oh shit, it's my life over, guys. Kind of a really bad time. Oh shit, where'd it go? But at the end, in the end, it just comes back down to like connections yet again. I feel like even my 9-month search only ended because I got lucky with someone knowing someone. Well, someone went out there, not on my behalf, asking for like a way to refer people, and then someone replied. Someone they didn't even know came back. It's like, oh yeah, I can refer you, and then that's how it went. What are you gonna do? GG. That's a bad time to exist right now, I suppose. Let me see. The base would be the hood, I suppose. We do the hood and then the... What am I rendering here? Hood, skin, hair, clothing? No. Oh, I see. So this would be... C again, and then it would be hair. Oh, wait a second, and that one's on top. Ah, whatever it is. Kind of a pain here. So skin will be here. See it. That one is on the back. No, it's not actually. It's on the hair. But my lines are clean. I don't have to worry about it. I'm just gonna bleed it anyways. So everything else is being grew. Other than that, a little bit. Yeah, what is the whole food situation here? Let's do this. What a nani? I drew it halfway. Oh my god. Yeah, it's kind of whatever. Oh, things doesn't make any. Okay, it's fine. It's whatever. No hands. Hair is over top, so it doesn't matter. Lock it. Oh, the virus. Oh my god, my tablet's walking. Oh shit. Wait, eyebrows are... Let me just merge them. Am I allowed to copy colors? I think I can just pick colors this time. I'm not really trying to test my eyes here. I just want to see what the Saigono effect, oh my god. The final effect is going to be. No, this is based on... Okay. Oh, this needs to have... No, wait, that's not true. What? Oh. Oh god, my tablet fell. GG. I just fixed it too. God damn it. What number are we at? 57 on 357. 13 streams ago. 356. Yeah. Everything happens in waves. Once it falls once, I feel like the chances of it falling again is pretty high. Because that means something about my posture and the way I set it up is not right. That's why it's like there are periods where if everything is right, it just doesn't fall. I'm like, I kind of forgot that that's a thing. Kind of like how I forget that my tablet sometimes has a lot of other issues. They just kind of go away and come back. Interesting how that works. Everything in life is like some kind of cycle. Just like the markets. Still poor though. GG. Yeah, I think so. Red. Okay. Oh my god. Synchronized. Any... Oh, okay. Huh. Did I mess this? Did I mess this up? This is really... one there, one here, which should encompass the entire width, I see. Ah, thereabouts. Good enough. Ah, sorry. This one's too big. Still kind of big, no? Oh, the other one's small. Right? Small. I think this one's a bit small. A bit bigger. Don't need this. Sister ref. And be right back. Oh, what? Oh, I left that outside. A very anime cell shading kind of style of rendering. Face is very flat. It doesn't even have a gradient from like the eyes to the chin. I wonder if I should. Very good. Very good. And now I went to the chest area. Flat, huh? Maintain the sequence. I'm gonna ignore this one. The hair. Right. B. Dang it. Let's see. Yeah, no, I think it's is it fine. Come back to it. Next one. Oh, oh, oh. What? What? Alright, that's BS, bro. Okay. I tried to name the thing a random name, and the random name was already used. What? Holy. Uh-oh. The music died. Is it because of my headset? Yeah, my headset died. Oh my god. Alright, reset. Okay, cool. Dang, that took an hour, dude? What the heck, bro? I started immediately, too. This took an hour, bro? And I'm looking just like... Oh my god, dude. Ah. You really cannot do art with it as a like a goal, like a final result oriented kind of mindset. Like, doesn't make sense, man. Like 10, 15, 20 hours in, and then you get like one output. If you don't like the process, man, this is kind of insane. Yeah, that is I guess that makes sense. It's just that, like, if you're doing like really simple stuff, right, then there becomes like no point in the first place, because there's like tons of those out there. It's like, why there's like no reason for me to draw lewd art, because like there's like a bajillion lewd arts out there already. It's only with like a bunch of crazy details I feel like maybe I can add some value there, here and there, and this and that. Yeah, that is so true too. I would like to see that too. I like to see that as well. Holy shit, dude. It fucking sucks, man. God damn. Anyways, I extracted. I saved a copy of this so I can compare, because I'm gonna add gradients in now. Right now it's just a binary setup. I don't really know how I want to approach this. I keep looking at this and like, I mean, like, I can clearly see like they use sketches and then they just painted over the sketch, and then like the sketch is probably soft light, and then they drew some lines over. But I also don't really want to do that, because I have the final result in my face. But it's whatever. I mean, I don't even know why I'm doing this study anymore. I just want to get the same vibes, yes, but if I'm not doing the same process, is that valid? Is that valid? Oh. Anyways. And it comes right down to colors again, does it not? That's alright. I don't, yeah, like, if that's the case, like, I don't want to render anymore. If this takes an hour, right here, the line art was all done. The lines and everything were all done. This is all we did today. Just the blocking. I suppose I could have used a what's that? A bucket tool? Where's my bucket tool? Oh, it's here. I suppose it could have gone faster. Jesus. Oh, shit. My tablet is like flashing black every 5 seconds. It's kind of hard to do anything. I mean, lighter at the top, darker at the bottom. Pretty much standard stuff at this point. Even if I don't pick the color, it's about the same, I think. Yeah, boots. Oh, shit. I wonder if I put something here to hold my cable up, if it would stop blinking the screen. But I don't have anything that's stable enough to be here, though. Dang it. Probably trying to be accurate and reference like Dante. Hello, Uni. I get what you're saying, but I'm evaluating it not based on the total runtime, but just today's time. Because I did spend a bunch of time trying to get the shapes and stuff yesterday and clean up the lines yesterday. But like today, all I've done is colors. And I literally picked the color. So the only part that I spent time on is the physical process of just putting it in. There was like no like real difficulty in that regard. And it still took this long. God damn it. That's why I feel like it's like, dang, trying to do clean art and like every day I have more and more appreciation for like those artists that do like really clean and insane, illy intricate pieces. It's kind of funny though. Like no matter where I look, I feel like everyone's enjoying art. Because like if you're doing really clean and really intricate stuff, you must really like the process because it takes fucking forever. But if you do really free art, it's like, oh shit, man, look at how free this person is with their expression. They must really like art. I look everywhere, everyone's enjoying art. I'm like, oh, and I come back here, I'm like, oh shit, this sucks. And this takes forever. Dang, I just want to play games. Okay, so I wonder, right? Like in the past, I think I briefly mentioned this as well. Like if I had one wish, right? Would I wish for the skills to carry out this process, right? This process of creation, and should I just wish Ria into existence? Then I don't do anything. I think I have my answer. Because it's not like if I just wish Ria into existence, all I have to do is vlog. All I do is vlogs. That'd be great. Is that favorite face? Yeah, like rendering is supposed to be like the easiest part, the most brain dead part, but that's only if you lay down the foundations correctly and if you're good enough to not have to worry about it, which we're not there yet. So this is definitely partly like a skill issue still. If you're good enough, then hopefully, I don't even know actually, honestly, but hopefully it'll be, oh shit, more fun than this. At least sketching is fun, right? Like right now. I'm asking because I'm not sure. Yeah, sketching's fun, right, guys? Isn't it? It's great, right? Oh, dang. I'm gonna do the bare minimum required to get to what I think looks close enough. And currently it is, we're only doing the binary setup, and then I just need to get some gradients in. And then afterwards, I'm gonna see what the bare minimum set of rendering brushstrokes is required to get to somewhere that is decent. Honestly, yeah. Anyways, I think that would be the plan. So far, everything has kind of made sense. Like it's fitting into that sort of formula for colorful, because I don't used to put in gradients at this stage. I will tend to block out all the shapes and then try to put in more colors or something. Like every shape itself only has the same value, the same pixel value, the same RGB value. Nowadays, we try to have the big shapes first, we put in some gradient, and then we try to render on top of that, which is like a big improvement because you get a lot more finer shapes and freer process during that painting process. It's a lot more free. This looks a lot yellower on my other screen. I wonder if it's just... Oh, it is different. Yeah, honestly... Even... Okay, so... If I were to go for bare minimum set of effort, I think at this point here, all I do is just take my marker brush, put in some intermediary colors here and there, maybe put in a Terminator, and then I'll call it a day, I think. I think that's probably like a good place to stop. The original has more charm just simply because like the sketch lines are left in. So mayhaps. Well, actually, let's finish this and see how it feels first. Because maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's not going to be as boring as I thought it is. I guess it's up to the rendering. What do I want to do? Let's do eyes first. What color are the lines actually? Still kind of brown, right? Let's drop that down first. Where is it? Here. Dang, isn't art fun, guys? Oh shit. Yeah, so let's go. Eyes are... let's just follow main then. Maybe it can be a bit lighter. Oh. Oops. Thumbnail. Where's my thumbnail folder? Oh, I don't have a thumbnail folder. Right. So it's number 9 then? It is. Is it number 9? Where is it? It's the one we did before. And it's got 2 versions. Oh yeah, it's interesting. So like if it's a sketch layer, there tends to be stuff like this left over, right? But theirs is very clean in that regard. I wonder if it's like, so it's like the initial rough sketch with all the layout and the block and the construction, then a slightly cleaner set of lines, but still a rough sketch, and then that one is left in, and then at the end, oh okay, no, that makes sense, right? Because the final lines that I'm thinking of is just like emphasis at the very end, some kind of cleanup and emphasis process at the very end. All right, let me see what which part of Maple Story should I go. Oh. I wish there's a way for you guys to see my screen turning, like know that my screen is flashing black. Like when it does it. Like maybe like an indicator will come on or something. Because sometimes I'm just sitting here waiting for it to stop. I'm just kind of sitting here. Like right now it's black right now. If you see me not moving for some reason, even though it's very obvious what I was doing, and there's no reason for me to stop and pause, it's because my screen is black. I physically cannot see it. Now it's black again. Okay, now it's back. Okay. Oh, now it's gone again. Now it's back. Oh, it's gone again. God damn it. Okay, hang on. Let me reconnect my tablet real quick. It's getting a little bit more and more frequent. Hopefully it's better now. I doubt it. Colors are really bright though. Oh, it is really bright. Oh wait, before I do this actually, let's grab another one. So this will be the original setup plus some gradients. Did I do gradient on everything yet? Shadow, light, shadow, light, shadow, light, shadow, light. Other than the skin slide part, I think. Everything else has something. Okay, and then we try to just have the least amount of brush strokes to put in like some more of these intermediate shapes, especially for the hair, and then I think we just call it, and I'll go do my own thing instead. Right. the eye. This is more purple rather than that. I might be overdoing this. Okay, I can't see shit anyways, it's too small. What do I do? Let's go by vibes then. Naruhodo. Yeah, but the lines are need to. I see, huh? How do I want to deal with this? Unless I push in. Maybe I should do that. Isn't it is this the cash shop from Maple Story? What? How did I tilt it though? Oh, what? Didn't detect my tablet for some reason. Hello, show. Did not work. Oh, there it goes again. My screen gone. Oh, it's back. I wonder if that is probably just a round brush, honestly. Yeah, one step at a T. Wouldn't it be? It would be a lot more epic if I started with like 1 then one space, then one space S, one space ST, one space SPP, and then you just keep doing one letter a day. And then just before you finish, I would change the title all over. No satisfaction, rage bait. Like, this isn't the original MapleStory music, but I can't believe how good MapleStory music is. They have so many songs, and it's such a large variety. With a whole range of different emotions and moods and instruments and this and that. So the rendering, I mean, just for this study, I think I'll keep it. Wait, let me think. That's the final version. I could, I guess, do it on. But there's no reason to do it like that. Yeah, I think it's still better to keep it on individual layers, I think. Still a little bit more cumbersome, of course. Wait, let me think. So I'm trying to figure out how I should approach this, because the one with Rhea on the bed and the wolf, that one was just painting. That was pure painting, right? But that one started with a very rough set of lines, and because that was the case, it was kind of fine. You just kind of bleed colors all over the place, and then you just kind of find your edges again over the top. That's fine. But if you spend time already getting a nice set of lines, a nicer set of lines, and cleaner edges already, it'd be kind of bad if you kind of have to mess up the lines again and just find it again. So I'm thinking, like, because right now I have a bunch of layers, where we have a lot of color layers, and I could just have one paint over layer on top and just paint over everything, but then you bleed all over the place. So it'd still be ideal to keep all the layers here. But then, like, this is still kind of cumbersome, and then I'm thinking back to Piotego's method of just having all the colors on one layer, but have another extra set, another single layer that is responsible for creating clipping masks at will, right, for all of the different parts. The main difficulty with that is that because the edge defining layer, right, which is that clipping mask one, is inherently a different set of layer than what you're painting on, if you want to go out of the edge or refine the edge or change something, you have to change that clipping mask layer. Or you can go down you can also just paint over on top, but then that would mean that your selection would never work after that again. It wouldn't work well after that again. So I'm just thinking what's the better way to go? Like right now we have, like, I think up to this point, it makes sense because we have the edges. Oh wait, let me think. It's still two different methods of working, I think. There is the Painterly method where you don't care about edges at all and only care about colors and then find edges. Then there's this method where you have this thing set up first. But aren't you supposed to do the color rough first, which is always the Painterly way? And then if you do it that way, then you always have the colors to work with at this stage of the process already. And with the color rough, that means you can do a single paint over reliably. No, it doesn't matter, right? Because right now it's like as though we have a color rough. As long as we have this reference, it's like we did our color rough. I'm still just trying to figure out what the best process is. Sticking to all the layers would be the most flexible down the line. It's just a pain he has to work with. Is there a way to merge everything down and paint over everything without worrying? But as long as so it's mostly a silhouette problem. If the silhouette of each big shape is already set, then we can merge everything, because then the clipping selection mask is unlikely to be changed. So yeah, so color rough stage, figure out all the colors, then render stage, figure out all the edges, wham everything together, and then now you select an area and then you paint in that area. I think that is the cleanest way to go then. It's like, again, I keep thinking about that one time Duvet said that it's because I'm doing two things at once. When I'm drawing lines and I find it really hard to draw, because I'm also trying to find the edges and the forms. So like I don't know why I'm writing at the 30-degree angle, but rough sketch, color rough. Then the roughish line art. So this is to be used as part of rendering. And rendering is each base layer plus shadow plus gradient. And then paint over. So we could the selection use layer. Actually, that wouldn't be this. And then merge all, paint over, right? And this entails adding more lines if need emphasis. That's not a word. Oh my god, I cannot write. So then in terms of arts, things that we have to figure out, what was it? So for example, stuff like form, which is defined by edges, silhouettes, I don't know. Okay, yeah, just pretend that that's a properly written word. There's color and there's idea, right? So idea is in the rough sketch. This is idea comp, right? And of course this encompasses all the other stuff like perspective and stuff like that. We have to be dealt here. Color lighting, these are two separate things. Will be dealt with here. So no edges at this point, right? We just have the idea, we just have the comp, rough comp. And then the color plus lighting goes in. Of course, there needs to be some edges, right? Or else you can't tell what one thing ends and where another begins and all the colors and all that. There is that. Then the roughish line art, so this at this point, this is already the rendering process has begun. This is the rough. That's not a word. GH. Is that how you spell rough? Oh my god. And then this is the render. And then, so the form, the edges and the thing. So the edges are being found, or the silhouettes are being found here in the base. Then the edges are being found by the shadow, or the preliminary set of edges. And then subsequently, it's going to be found again with the paint over here, the more refined stuff. And because you're painting over, let me think. So because you're painting over all of the stuff, you work on a single layer. It's a bit easier. I mean, this is a choice thing. I think it really depends on if I prefer having all the layers out about or not. So this is option 1. Option 2. Just keep layers till the end. Then you paint over on top on separate layer, because you do want to have like, you know, hair going over stuff potentially, and that needs to go over everything. So eventually you need a paint over that goes over everything. It's just that whether if the initial set of lines here, this rough set of lines here is gonna be, so this set of lines here is meant to be like right here where you just keep it forever, or you want it to be part of the rendering process and have to find maybe some more edges again here and there. So I guess it might be the difference between keeping something a bit stronger with the lines and something a bit more like this, where lines are kind of messed up a little bit and then you have to come back and find the edges again. I feel like this way is a bit kind of stupid to some extent, because it's like, well, you have a nice set of lines already, if that were the case. Like, if you have the nice set of lines, you probably don't want to do the lines again. So it really depends on how clean this is, I think. This rough-ish line art process. And then it will depend on that, and there you go, option 1, option 2, perhaps. Depending on the mood, depending on the process, depending on the resources available at hand, because maybe if you have a clear reference, it will be easier to do cleaner lines, versus if you don't have a clear reference, maybe you want to delay that thing till the rendering stage where you can find forms with colors rather than lines. I suppose that is another benefit, right? So that might be the main work. So right now we have a clean set of lines. I think it's fine to keep all those layers separate, perhaps. It still doesn't really matter. I can still merge everything if I want. Selection layer and all that. I think for us, the purpose of this, I want to do comparisons perhaps. So I'm just going to keep things clean. I'm going to just paint over on each of their respective layers. And I shall start. It's primarily hair and the coat, I think. Not even so much the coat even, just the hair, I think. I'm going to do the hair first, because after the hair, there's a good chance that I don't have to continue anymore, if there's enough details here. So paint over on top. And then just pick colors and just ball, I guess. I don't really have a lot to work with though. I feel like maybe I'm lacking a little bit of... Actually, did I select the thing on that? Oh, okay, it looks a lot more DAO on my screen, on my tablet here. So I guess that is what it is. Oh, never mind. Go a bit higher. Boo beans. Hello, Devay. Thank you, Devay. I mean, I see what you mean. This is like just like a lot of good anatomy references though. I think we're fine. I think it's probably fine. Let me send it real quick. There you go, and then Devay's dailies. There you go. Main is set. Oh, it's cancelled. I see. Did I send it? Sorry, got distracted. Language equals en. We'll find some of the less sus stuff, but I mean, textures are interesting. Yeah, it's primarily line and anatomy, huh? I feel like Deve recently has been more like your dailies has been more like construction related. It's more proportion and this kind of stylization, not like rendering kind. I don't really see like the really style. Like if you can you imagine like chibi characters doing like all these poses? Like imagine they do this pose and all you see is pretty much just the head. You cannot even see the body and all that. I mean that's like a very extreme example, but I feel like if you want to do poses, some of these poses and stuff, they only kind of work if like there's a specific proportion for like the head and the body, right? Which inherently means like your face is kind of locked down to only a subset of all the possible styles, like the stylization for the face and all that. Crispy lines. Oh, they got them thingies going. Oh. I mean, I think other than like maybe this one and these guys, it's not really that sussy. It's just all the poses perhaps are a little bit more, you know, revealing perhaps. But like, I don't feel like, because like the rendering they do on the body is very minimal, right? It's not like those really thirsty art where you render all the forms and you render all the curves and you smooth out all the edges and you have a bunch of stuff that implies the form and make it even more. This really feels a lot more like just a, oh wow, 10,000 over here, huh? What day is this? So February, they're like at 20,000. Currently, they're like 60,000. February till now. Oh, sorry, February 2025, dude. I'm so stupid. I was like, what? Like 4 months? 3 months? That's an explosion and a half. Oh, wow. That's a shadow. The shadow is great. I'm thinking how you will construct this. Because like some of these things, I don't know how you will construct it. Like I cannot really see the box that well. Like what's happening with the torso, you know? Like is it pointing this way? Maybe it's like more horizontal. Maybe it's probably more this way, right? Because otherwise the body wouldn't be able to join here. Yeah, I think like these poses, if you can draw poses like these convincingly without looking at references, that is how you know you're like really, really good at construction. Yeah. Definitely cannot do anywhere close to this amount of movement on the body without references. But yeah, thank you, Dave. I think this is like a great artist for practicing with. Pinterest keeps giving me like fighting poses, and it's kind of like the same things over and over. So maybe this is like a new new artist, a new source. What would be more representative without being a little bit too weird? Like, what am I looking at? Okay, maybe this one. So the box is like, this is the long axis, but it's also pointing away from us, so the bottom edge is like smaller than the top edge, perhaps. But where's the? Oh my god, dude! Holy shit! Right, yeah. So now I find like yeah all the poses and stuff because Pinterest recommends you stuff that it thinks that you like, right? But if you click on one thing once, then there's one more click than all the other things have ever gotten. So they started giving you this more often. So you click on it more often. And I end up just having the same set of things always. This is not safe for work, so I can follow. But thank you, Duvet. I see. Is that a message on Twitch, or am I It's not. Okay, it's just my colors over here. Holy shit. I thought it was someone's icon. It was like kind of big. You gotta be Saito Naoki. You gotta do your own poses. Can you imagine? Saito Naoki doing a ballet pose. I bet he must have, like, at least like the simpler ones. Augers. Oh, I'm so tired. I don't want to do anything anymore. I feel like mine's lacking contrast, but might just be my headless color tuning. Relatively speaking, it feels very a bit more faded. Where's me always over here? Am I just tripping? Because I did pick the colors, isn't it? Oh, it's still a little bit lighter. Oh, this is the wrong brush. Gaba. Oh no. Sorry, Sho, I won't be able to go through all your stuff today. I do have to get things done today. I do not know this artist. Yeah, I don't. This is 100% like very, very much in the camp of I don't like this style kind of style. I've not seen this. I don't think Twitter will ever recommend me stuff like this anymore. Not after having I spent some times before where I was just rejecting stuff I don't like, all the memes and stuff. So now Twitter only serves me stuff that I like a lot. It's so very my god. Are they? It's not. It's just a lot of lines. I think. Like it's also. I think it's because of all these areas where a lot of lines kind of overlap, but they're not parallel lines, right? If the lines were perfectly parallel, then you're just getting repeated curves and the same, like the exact same width and all that. It feels a lot more organized, but this feels like it's very scratchy. But like it's giving me the same vibes as when people draw with like a very like when people draw with like they pull lines like this, right? You've seen those. And like the end result is that you get this vibe where it feels like it's very unclean, but that's not the case with them actually, because their long lines are very long and like continuous. Like over here, this is a very continuous line on the stuff. I guess there's a bit of scratching here, but it's primarily all these, like all the hair area. I mean, yeah, like algorithm definitely sends you stuff that they think that you spend more time on, right? If you're scrolling down your timeline, it records like what's on your screen and for how long. So, you know, that's probably why. Save images. What's going on here? I see. Because the hashing or the hatching is that U-shape as well. It's not maintaining all the whips and stuff. But it's kind of interesting though, this representation of form, because it is just values at the end of the day when you zoom out far enough. That's interesting though. That's interesting. Maybe this is okay. So I'm just complaining about how like the width and stuff is not like even and all that. But in order to achieve that, you kind of have to zoom in. I always kind of zoom in quite a bit. So I lose sight of the bigger picture, right? So I can only reliably apply like sort of one type of value, if you mean. If you get what I mean, like if you maintain the width and you control and you have the same brush size, then when you zoom out, the perceived value of that sort of alternating pattern it's just constant. But if you zoom out and you just treat it as like a way to put in values, naturally your lines will be a little bit more messier because you're zoomed out, but then you get to have the whole picture and then you can draw something like this. It kind of has like that vibe of like fibers, you know. When you zoom out, it's got that hairy sort of fiber kind of vibe over here. Could be good for rendering specific materials. I wouldn't use it for the entire piece for sure. There's some blurring here too. Is that blurring? It's like smudging over here. It's basically non-existent. Is it here? Maybe, yeah, some more here, I guess. Very, very minor somehow. It's like a traditional artist coming into digital and just doing the exact same thing with the same set of tools. Right, yeah. It's because the form is indeterminate. It's not very clear. But even then, though, the highlights and stuff, you can feel the shine on that material. Dang. Anyways, thank you, Show. Do you want to get added to the dailies as well? You had like, I think, maybe 5 or 6 artists yesterday, but I didn't put them in here. No Gun, more like Mogun. Great, now there are 2 of them. Kinda crazy. It's interesting that I don't do any recommendations, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm always here. So I feel like I should also do like some kind of daily thing. But I haven't browsed like Twitter for so long. Like, I feel like it's been quite a while since I truly browsed Twitter. Used to be I browsed Twitter a lot because I was just there for like the memes and stuff. But because I've filtered out all the memes, I don't get them anymore. All I do is browse Reddit now for the memes. So ironically, you know, making my timeline more art oriented lowered my exposure to art because now I'm just not even there anymore. I find myself like getting too tired out, I think, just looking at other people's art and remembering how difficult the whole process is. And I say, ah, shit, I'm kind of tired. I just want to look at memes, man. And I just go back to Reddit. Get all the shit posts. Nah, it's probably the daily stuff. Or is it? Stay tuned and find out. But that's just a theory. A game theory. I didn't watch the guy. I didn't watch MatPat. I just know he's a legend. I did not grow up with the game theories and all the theories and this, that, and that. But also I've been here. Oh, I see. Yeah, she's been here for a while. Do you guys want the subtitle thing back, by the way? Is that useful for you guys at all? Where is that game theory thing from? Oh my god. Show your... You do not know. So if you search for like the game theory, I was like, what was it, like the game theorists or something? Show, the way you want it back? Yeah, that's what I figured, that people might want to just like not hear me talk about stupid shit the whole time. I can't just turn it on right now though. I have to go install it because I don't have it anymore after moving my computer. Let me remember to do that then. I'll go bring it back. I think my computer should be powerful enough to not have to worry about GPU issues. Well, granted, the previous GPU was also fine. Power-wise, it was just a something issue. I'm not really sure what the issue was, but anyway, so like that's just a YouTube channel. A lot of people grew up with the YouTube channel. They basically talk about lore in games. They speculate on lore. They speculate on different things based on character actions or props or like in-game sort of events and stuff. And yeah, basically it's just speculative content. Yeah, because it's on games, right? It's easy to digest. It's interesting to most people of a certain age. And then if you grow up with something, it becomes very nostalgic, this and that. But I didn't grow up with it. I just kind of know it as like a meme thing myself. I grew up with what's it, Minecraft YouTubers like Etho's Lab. Always the channel name always is the Etho Slab to me. Etho space slab. How do I even render this actually? What am I even doing? I don't really want to do what they have 100%. I want to try and just put in shapes that I am okay with and then see what the balance is required to get there. So I guess I'm doing this instead. But yeah, like MapHat, his channel is one of the ones that got bought out by private equities. So the quality and all that is all different. I'm assuming. Kind of what happens when you change management and you change the direction and the focus of the channels and all that. Yeah, Etho is the guy who came out with like the hopper clock thing, I think. Is he the guy who came out with the hopper clock? Like there's like no Sethbling has like a lot of inventions, and then recently there's like Cubic Meter who's like making like orbital cannons and stuff like that, which is all really, really insane. But Etho's got like a few good inventions down his belt, like the Ender Pearl teleporter thingy, the stasis chamber thing. I think he came out with that first. I would like to think at least. I would give him the credit if I get to make that decision. Maybe a lot of people came out with the idea at the same time. You know, that happens a lot in science, all the time. So I can't know for sure, but. You know, Etho is great. Very chill. I like very chill vibes. The OGs are really nice, you know. But when they don't touch kids, I think that's a big thing. All the new generation of YouTubers, especially all the block game and Roblox and this and that. Everyone goes down that path, huh? There's a lot of allegations of grooming and this and that. To the point where it almost feels like, you know, it's like a requirement of being a YouTuber in that space. It's like everybody does it or something. But I digress. Oh, hello, Uni. I know that name. Who is this? Can I show you this? The autocomplete is all here. Hello, Lamau. Oh, okay. I know. I know why this has been like this, because there was a lock on to, where is it? The swimming pool one. I don't know where it is. It's in my system. But yeah, this is one of the what you even call it? Like kind of like direction setters, I think, for like what I would like to do in the future, perhaps, because they're just kind of exploring spaces, right? Putting a character in them, not necessarily any particular story in particular. What? But yes. Actually, I have another story about the lane thing, but yeah, probably inspired by that, right? Like it's very. I'm not very familiar with the franchise, but it does feel very similar. I don't know if I recognize it, by the way, if we go past it. Let me check out the book. Oh, nice. This is also a study that I should do because, like, you know, how much work is it to get to this stage? Because this, to me, it looks good from afar, but I still would like to make it a little bit cleaner in terms of edges, right? Like, this is not very clearly separated. And there's a bit of fuzziness to it. But I just wonder, how much work is it already to get here? So, if we have a reference like this that we can lock onto without, like, finding a photos are too hard, then I can figure out that for myself, and then we can see where we want to go from there. Very distinct set of colors too, right? Like the colors they choose to use. It's very... It's a bit grimy, it's a bit dirty. It very much feels like a very dystopian kind of vibes. Not that it necessarily is, it just feels very depressing. Which I like, because I think that's more accurate to real life. Very depressing indeed. Oh wow, look at that. Yeah. Too caught up with trying to get clean edges, honestly, because, like, I feel like some of these representation is really nice. You just, like, scratch it up, you don't really care what's happening, because that's kind of how it's like in real life, right? The wires are kind of messed up. But even when I try to mesh it up, like, I remember there was one bit I just did circles, and that's all I did. And they still look pretty regular. Oh wow, okay, I didn't realize how rough this was until I zoomed in. Yeah, Duvet, I wish I could be like you, honestly. Like, it's really hard. Like, if I'm a viewer of the art, I don't see those tiny problems, right? I just see the whole vibes, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. As the artist, then you're like, oh shit, is this really okay? You know, like, once you see it once, you're like, shit, man, I can still see it. I still don't know what's happening here like that clearly. And all of a sudden, it's like, shit, I better clean it up. I better find the steps in here, you know? I better find each individual step in here. Like, even the foreground stuff, too. Yeah, the balance of the particles against this background. It looks really good, though, like this. Because it feels like, what, sand and stuff? Like, maybe the asphalt's a little bit porous and then stuff got stuck in it. But if you zoom in, this is the kind of distribution of patterns that I don't like, because it's too sparse. But I think it's just a specific material, maybe. Maybe this specific material is fine. Yeah, I prefer it to be more like that, right? Like a bigger patch of colors and some stuff that bleeds along the edges. But then within the patch is fine. But this is within the patch, it's just like... everything's everywhere. But surely some things in the world just has to be represented like that. So I have to just learn to accept it. One day. Mayhaps. There's one that I like with, like, the swimming pool one. Like, in, like, an indoor stadium. Like, one of those Olympic pools where you have, like, the chairs along the side and stuff like that. This is uncharacteristically colorful. I'm stopping here because I'm kind of thinking about the behind the scenes, right? If you think about it, this artist is not like a very colorful artist, you know? Everything tends to be more muted. But this piece here being this colorful, so I'm thinking of it like this, right? Given that most of the pieces are not very colorful, that means they don't tend to do this, right? And the few pieces that they do it would mean that they're going out of the comfort zone to do something that they probably don't do, like, that they are probably not as good at, you know, relatively speaking. But overall, the effect still looks really good. And then it brings me back to, like, all the artists who do this a lot, right? Their style basically is just this kind of vibrant kind of vibe. And by virtue of the fact that both of this person's art, like, that is colorful, and those artists' art that are also really colorful, kind of feels about the same. Now I'm wondering, like, because I always thought that maybe there's, like, some important thing that you have to keep in mind, maybe, in order, or something special that you have to really do. But maybe it is just about putting enough colors everywhere, right? Because if you have enough vibrant colors everywhere, with the same saturation, same perceived saturation, then it doesn't really matter what kind of hue. Like there's no sort of requirement perhaps on like a specific set of hues. Maybe you just put everywhere enough and it would be fine. Because it always feels very scary to start. Like why would you, like the moment you put in the first bit of blue on like a gray canvas, it stands out so much. Sorry, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. I'm just trying to lower the barrier to entry to this. I still have a big problem where I cannot do anything unless I can see myself possibly being able to do it. It's very much like those anime magic kind of logic where you have to imagine yourself being able to win, right? Like what, Frieren and all that. And yeah, I need to lower the barrier enough so that it actually goes through. Actually, why do I not see the swimming pool one? I don't know. Oh, what? I got spooked. Any color? Wait, who is this? Oh, of course it is. It's the dude that is all about like horror and stuff. Yeah, I think they do more horror and occult and like urban legend kind of vibe stuff. Oh yeah, like that. Wait, what? They go out and start exploring runes now? See, this is why Niji-Sanji is better than Hololive. See, Dube, this is your aesthetic. You can maybe enjoy this more. Oh, this is birthday, Amal. Oh, I can kind of see. I see. This push. After initial setup, yeah, I think so, right? It shouldn't necessarily be. You know, I wonder. Wait, but it depends, right? Like the AI is able to like generate images, at least the ones that I know of. The way they do it is they just denoise the thing, right? They give it a bunch of noise and then they ask it to denoise it with a bunch of tags. And then over generations, it would just slowly refine all the edges so that you will see the stuff that you want to see. But if your art style is something inherently very noisy, wouldn't the AI just mess it up and make it way too clean? But I'm sure they have ways to work around it. Russian Doom music. Okay, maybe I'll listen to this later. Let's figure out what this is later. Maybe we can have some Russian Doomer music for the stream. Oh yes, thank you, Uni. Poggers. Anyways, I guess we continue here. Excuse me. Yeah, you see, Joe. I think that is a confidence thing in general. I think part of it is the skill. Maybe part of it is just part of it is like it's all experience. Sorry, it's all experience because you need the experience to be able to see the stuff you want to draw still in that mass. right? You need to kind of know like what you're drawing already in your head, right? You can kind of imagine the form, you can imagine what angle you're looking at it at. And then the other part of the experience thing is just having the confidence of having worked through some of the complicated mask. Because for me, it's the same. I get the same feeling. So like this one that we did before, this one here, I wouldn't have been able to do something like this if it were not for some other experiences in the past where I worked with basically just a... Actually, I don't know how my layer is set. It's a bit mess. Do I have anything that I can demonstrate with? I don't know if I have anything on hand, right? But like something like this, if I just go in and color, most of the stuff you have drawn, if you have drawn something many times, then you don't have to find the edge anymore because you already know what is going to be there, right? Even if you don't know exactly the nuance of that form, you're confident in yourself enough to find it later. So right now you can kind of shut that noise off in your head and being like, oh, okay, you know what? It's fine. It's messy. I can't see it clearly. It's fine. I'm just gonna put in the bigger colors now. And you only think about that part first. You put in the bigger colors, set some bigger shapes in, and then you take a step back and be like, okay, I want to clean up the hair now. Then you pick some local color, for example, and then you just start refining. But to be able to do that, yeah, it is kind of tricky, I would say. That's why I spend like a bunch of time just not talking about this thing, this nonsense here about the process, because I've had that same situation before. I want to work in the rough way, as rough as possible, because doing line art first upfront is like a very heavy upfront cost for something that I might not finish, and it inherently is a very cumbersome process. It's very tedious, right? It makes me want to stop. So if I can work off of a rough sketch, that would be nice. But in past experience, the problem is that if you work off of a rough sketch, the noise makes it really scary to continue. And as you're painting, you're also losing information along the way. Actually, let me see. Where is my... Is it here? Oh my god. Where did I put it? So here and here, right? So if I just have like skin color, for example, I don't know, like this. If I just have this, maybe I have something brighter over here. I mean, it's not the best representation. Let me go a bit darker. This is very hard to see otherwise. So if I just want to work off of this, then ideally I will put in some color. I'll maybe airbrush some gradient in, maybe make this part a bit redder and then this a bit brighter and this and that. And then maybe this part I can have a bit more gray or something. Something like that. And then now I have to start painting, right? But because it's a rough layer of line art, I have to clean it up as I do it. So the layer has to be on top, right? So this is the color layer. There's the line art layer, and then on top I do it. Then at this stage, you're just picking colors. So you're like, okay, I don't know where the face ends and where the hair starts, because somewhere there must be some kind of shadow, right? And this is the darker color for the hair shadow. I'll have to pick this, and I have to just start trying to find this edge here. And if you use like solid brushes, you tend to just lose information. Now you don't really see the lines anymore. Now it's all gone. So unless you have a very clear idea, it's really hard. Or you can use like maybe like a brush like this, where it takes out some information and puts in some itself. And then now it's maybe a little bit easier to work with like this. Maybe the color I don't really like, I can do that. And then now you're just trying to find shapes again, right? Stuff that you had before, you're trying to find it yet again. And I don't really like this process. With enough experience, I think this is completely fine. But this part is pretty hard, like this. Because as you're losing information, it feels really scary. Am I really gonna find it again? Like, sometimes it's really hard to get the forms that you like. After spending so much effort getting it, you're kind of like, oh, I'm destroying it now? Like, what? Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Same. 100%. I used to do it because I thought that that was the only way I can do it. Right? Because line art, very well defined, very clearly defined, and having a clean set of line art before you do colors makes me feel so much more confident in that you can succeed, because you took out some of the challenge already. But right, that goes back to this nonsense here again. The lines are basically there to help you find the edges, right? That's what that is. Your art is there. Art only works if you have all these forms that's clearly defined, and they have to be defined by all the edges, whether if the edge against another material or the form itself, like the folds and all that. Lines help you do that in like a very simple and fast way, because you don't have to worry about colors, you don't worry about render, you don't worry about the values. It's always the same value, it's always the same thing. Yeah, but it looks very nice. A lot of effort to do it. So the new plan is to do something like this. Although I recognize that this structure that I've come up with today, or like over the course of the streams, right, isn't actually something I can just tell my past self and have him be able to do it. Because it actually requires a lot of experience in, for example, let's say here I do a rough sketch, right, which is what we had before. So we had the rough sketch from before. Then the next step will be to do the color rough. And I can possibly treat this, whatever that I'm doing now, as the color rough. Sure. We have to do it non-destructively. So color rough, ideally, I would not destroy the line. I will put it below the lines, right? I'm just doing the color rough. Then the next step will be to come up with a clean set, rough-ish set of lines, right? It needs to be clean enough so that I can kind of use it as part of the painting process. Like, you see the question that you asked, right? That thing is a problem. It's a problem when the lines are really, really dirty and really, really rough. So what happens if you have a slightly cleaner set? It'll be a lot easier to work with, right? So now if you can come up with a cleaner set like we did yesterday, like this, it's still pretty rough, but it's a lot cleaner. If you're working with this and you're just coloring, rendering with this, it's a lot easier than what we had before. So that's why this structure calls for something like called the roughish line art here. And this roughish line art here is actually very dependent on having a lot of experience, because I have enough sketching now to just have confidence in my lines and know that I can get the curve for this arm with the deltoid and this dip, because the biceps are here, right, in one stroke. And that's how you can get the clean lines to even begin this next part of the process. So it is, I don't know, like there's gonna be a lot of struggle, I think, at the end of the day. Like the whole gist of this is like there's gonna be a lot of struggle no matter what, even if you have a clear structure to move forward, even if you have a good idea of the process. Right, yeah. So do you find it difficult to work with this kind of sketch as well, like this here? I think this one here would have been a lot easier. You can also do it non-destructively by having this be on soft light or something, so that if your color is going... Who is this supposed to be again? Is this supposed to be Miku or something? Do I have it here? I don't know if I move the references in here or not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Dang it. Whatever, dude. Just like Tato? Oh, okay. Right. The shoulders here, perhaps. Or is it this? Oh, no, it's the hair. Anyways. Yeah, I wonder. Oh, this is on the same thing. Yeah, but if you have just like soft light, then it becomes a lot. You can have the lines as part of the process too. Actually, maybe I should... Hang on, did I write this down? I'm all over the place because my neurons are firing. Right, I see. Not explicitly, but also not rejecting it. Let me move this here. I have no space, bro. I think soft light works better than whatchamacallit, painting over the lines, because at least you can see some of the lines, and then the lines become like a separate set of colors that might help you find variation in your own colors later. But yeah, I don't know, like are you saying like this is... Have you tried something like this? This is still easier, I think. And then you can find edges just like before. What am I looking at? I don't. Actually, the texts are not there for me to read, per se. Sometimes I do go back and read it. Like, you see, like, we had the document with the VS Code document with all the information that I've ever written down by hand, typed out, and consolidated. I do kind of have to consolidate more information now. But primarily, it's not really a for me to read thing. It's for me to sort out my current train of thought thing. And once the ideas are clear and I accept it as correct, it just gets locked in back to my head as a new set, as a new version of this idea. And it serves as a basis for the next set of evaluations going forward. That being said, I do forget a lot of things. So whatever sticks, right? Whatever doesn't stick, then that's too bad. You know, ideally you go back and you read the stuff and you don't do double the work. But because art is kind of interesting in the sense that like it is kind of just how you are, right? Like what you are as a person. I think the fact that I'm forgetting some information and rediscovering the information again, maybe in a different way, or maybe finding a different opinion this time, I think is actually better, right? I don't see it as like doing double the work. I see it as refining, like figuring out who I really am, even better this time, if that makes sense. The forgetting part and the rediscovering part seems to be it feels like it's also part of that art process. It's kind of like how I do like my story stuff with Ria as well. Not that there's a lot of it, right? But like a lot of the ideas, like what I wanted Ria to be, or how I want to present her, and all the stories that I would like to write, I would just have it as a thought first, and then I'll write it down somewhere after there's enough stuff, and then I'll just forget about it. And then any piece of the story that sticks with me, I treat it as canon. Anything else, I treat it as just not good enough. And then I'll just rewrite the story from what I remember again. And then we see where we go from there. Like, you know, like just keep repeating this process. I think it's kind of stupid. To some extent, I think it's kind of stupid. I will still do it. The stupid part, I think, is that it's a lot of the stories are written in a vacuum without any sort of more hands-on planning and referencing of real life. I think the process of sort of just letting it sit and forgetting about it perhaps maybe isn't as stupid. Still seems kind of stupid. But I think the stories should have been better planned out in the first place or something. I don't know why I'm drawing this now, by the way. I should probably go back to doing the thing. Screen, bro. Holy shit. I need to put more rendering into the streams, I think. Sorry, put more time into the rendering. Because we only got this far with line art because I kept doing it. It's like a really easy thing to do, but like rendering is a lot harder, but also needs this mileage to get anywhere. You have to clean it up, right? Unless you're okay with your final set of lines looking like this, right? Then you can just leave it on normal. That's also fine, right? If your line is already clean enough. You don't really see it in this Rossi reference here, but you can see some of the artifacts left over from the sketching, right? Like a lot of these hairlines here tends to be the sketch. Sorry, Duvet. I'm okay with the lasso too. I do use it once in a while. It's just what I feel like doing. Like if you were here earlier today, I was using it with this as well. It was just a back and forth. It depends on what the thing that I'm drawing is. Some of them are easier with one thing rather than the other. But yes, thank you. I think for me though, like this one here, I feel like soft light would be better. And it's gonna take a while to set this up though, because I do need enough stuff to work with. And I don't have a tattoo here. Oh, I do have a tattoo. Oh, it's over here. I mean, it's a very interesting colors. I would like to maybe not use such interesting colors. The clothing is darker and everything else is redder. Alright, what is this color representing here, Fizz? We can just do skin color and then I can do clothing color. It should be darker. Darker push blue, purple. Too dark. Oops. Oh yeah, this is still easier. Oh, wait, what happened to the... I just didn't draw it, Lama. What is this? Clothing still? This maybe would have been arguably be easier with lasso. Gonna grab this too. This here is definitely a lasso moment then. Music ended. Check. And then continue. That should be more stuff outside, I think. Wait, doesn't she have a tie? Does she not have a tie? I guess they have different uniforms. And then I need to also just disable this and then grab more space here. I don't mind a few sketch lines in the final render, but... I mean, I guess you would just have to have a different layer for your sketch, right? Like, I have the same situation where there's a darker set of sketch lines that's more final. But the lighter lines, the rougher lines are also on the same layer. I just have to accept that because I didn't separate the layers. It's just a separating layer thing, right? Not much you can do for existing pieces, but like, it's also not a difficult problem to fix. This is awkward. Yeah, because they're both trying to... Not pushing blue here. How dark is her actual clothing? I guess I'm just gonna do something. I also don't really use multiply layers a lot, but because we don't have a good set of color references, I'm just gonna do it because this is easier to do it this way for colors. When I don't know, just to get the shape out first. I think we're going by ourselves here. Can't really see very clear. I'm gonna go hard light instead. Where's my lighting? Let's just do front of her. Here. Don't want to cut the shape up too much. Let's try to merge this somehow. Shadows here. Here, perhaps. Going on here. Too broken up here. Just take it out. Could work, I suppose. No, the red color was just a random ass color, so I can see it against the white background to craft out the entire silhouette. There's no reason for me to use red, like, specifically. I could have used blue. It's whatever color that you want. And go back to hard light. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, I would like to not have those rough ass lines there. But this is a very similar environment to the Ria one then. Well, Ria one was a lot rougher, I think. But yeah, like, so I did the multiply layer on both just to get like the rough thing, and I selected individual parts, right? So I selected just the clothing, for example, and I changed the shadow to be a slightly different color here. And then now it's on its own layer, blocked on top of this part. I don't know how blocked this is, but like that. I actually don't need this anymore. So this is the clothing, this is the clothing. It's the skin and the skin shadow here. There's still a multiply layers. Sorry, there's still multiply right now. I don't like multiply. I don't like any color effects. So I'm going to change it back to normal, but I selected the multiply color. So now I can just set it back to this. I just don't like layer effects if I don't have to have it. Actually, skin color, I would rather just tune it by myself. Or just do it this way instead. What? Why is it not painting? Oh, I have the clothing still selected. My screen is turning black all the time. Oh my god. Yeah, I think the colors are kind of insane on you guys' screen. It just looks... Oh man, this looks so dull on mine. But I think as long as I can use my other monitor here for tuning, I think it's fine. Also, we are missing the red stuff, are we not? So it's just the middle of the ring. Okay, let's grab this real quick too. CR. What's a good red here? I don't know. It's not a good red. This red? No, it's not. This is though. Let's see how fast we can make something that is somewhat okay, I think. I kind of, you know, we're not doing the study no more, but this is still relevant to the stream, I guess. It's still art. Try not to be too particular about some of these sizes because it's not, it wasn't meant to be rendered, so it wasn't done very tightly here. What is this? Why is the sleeve hole different size? I'm assuming it's going to go on the outermost rim, right? As it usually is. Yes, I might have done it really quick, but what as in, like, you do see that I have the different two layers for the base color, right? We have the skin, which is the original red that you were asking about. Then there is this clothing one. So what you can do is you control click on the clothing one, right? And then you select just the clothing area. So this only selects the clothing area right now. Like that. And then I would go to my shadow layer. I will control X. I will just cut it out. Right? Control X cuts the thing out, right? So it's like doing this. So if I have a big ass block over here, I do this color here like this. My screen keeps turning black. Now I select this, I cut this out. So I only have the stuff that's over this. And that's that. I'm still locking to the clipping to the base layer here though, just because I might change that later. Also, it's easier on my eyes to see what's related to what. But that's how I did it just now. Just really quickly. The benefit to doing it on the same layer before and then it's just that you have more cohesive shadow shades, but then it really doesn't matter too much, I feel like, because I'm only using it for a very rough idea anyways. So we're gonna deviate really quickly once I separate. And I did separate because I want to have different colors on them. Like, multiply applies the same base color on that multiply layer down to the whatever layer that's underneath it. Different colors will react differently to the lighting, and they should have different shadows, I think. I don't know about the exact science of it, but I feel like intuitively they should have different shadow colors, and therefore the shadow layers should be separated, so I can have that flexibility for applying different gradients as well later on. Indeed. I think I only came out with this, at least. I got a little bit more used to this. I wouldn't say I came out of it necessarily. But eventually we arrived at this after like doing a bunch of different stuff. My old experience with like doing line arts and then very clean stuff, very cel-shaded stuff. Always being there to tell me that, you know, I don't really want to do that anymore. So that urged me into trying something new that I wouldn't have tried because it's kind of scary painting like this, right? Nothing is clean. Like, you know, it feels really terrible, I feel like, doing this. Also, here's another thing, right? So if you remember, I did the shadow like this on just the clothing. But now I have a red on top. So wherever the red is, there is no shadow, right? But I have the shapes already underneath. So you can do the same thing where you control click the shadow that's applied to the base color of the clothing. But then you create a new layer on top of the red one. I will lock it to the red, and then this can be used to make the shadow for the red part. Once my screen comes back here. So now I can do this without having to repaint those shapes, and you'll be consistent with the shadow shapes underneath. Indeed. How crazy are my colors right now? I can't tell. How red do I want the original to be? I mean, we have to tune this a little bit. We need more gradients here still. I kind of like rays like this though. But if I do this, the clothing needs to get tuned accordingly too, I think. This looks a little interesting. I don't know how harmonious this is, but it is more visually interesting with the more colors. Kinda sus. Maybe if it's not that strong. Maybe if this is also not this much. Six seven, nice, 67 and 67% here. To be fair, like a simple answer really is just you kind of have to just do things. I mean, it always is. Let me see. Because I didn't really take any lessons, right? I did some lessons later on in my journey, but in the beginning is always just kind of grinding by yourself. And the way it will work is that you will look at someone's art, right? And you will really like it. You're like, holy shit, this looks really good, and I want to be able to draw like this. Then there are two paths about it. You can either study, right? You try to copy what they have, or you try to come up with something that leverages maybe the same color, the same pose, the same rendering, something like that. The second path was what I took. It doesn't really matter which path you took. That's not really important. The important thing is that you're inspired by something and you want to do something that is similar to what you have seen. But in order to do something to what you have seen, you have to experiment and see what works and what doesn't work. Because no one's there to tell you what's the correct way to do it. If you're doing it by yourself, that is. And that's why you need like to have enough motivation to kind of push through. Because a lot of times I would just be sitting here. Like for example, I don't have a good example here, but then like sometimes at the very end, right, I will put in a bunch of colors and then I would just start doing some stupid experiments. Like if I put in a bunch of colors like this, for example, would I like it? Like what happens if I change a different layer mode, you know, and stuff like that. And it's a lot, how do I say this? Like the experiments are a lot more guided, because what you're saying is that you don't really know, like randomly do stuff, right? That's not gonna be random, because if you have something you like and you have a reference and you have an idea that you want to go for, you're not doing it randomly. You're trying to hit that same vibe that you're seeing in the reference. That's what you're trying. So like for example, this one here, this is a good example. I did all the study of like the renders and stuff before, right? Like that stupid tree here. Sorry, no offense to the original artist, but like this tree here, there's a lot of stuff here that I do not know. I do not know, like for example, what kind of brushes exactly are they using? Like what is the specific texture over here? I don't know. I don't know how they're getting this blending sort of effect. Could be opacity, could be color blending, could be anything, right? I don't really know what kind of distribution of noise they're doing. Like what are the particle sizes? How dense is the brush gonna spray the particles at? What color should I use? Is it only one light blue color that's being sprayed in? Or are there multiple different shades of blue being sprayed in? None of these you would know, that I know before I started. But I just know that I like what I'm seeing, and I know that I need to learn how to do it. And the only way to do it is to just try a bunch of stuff in this specific direction. And as you're trying more stuff, like for example, this is not as random now, right? You're not randomly trying stuff now. You're trying to figure out, hey, some stupid as shadows by control clicking, cutting, and stuff like that. You can do this. Oh, to those you kind of have to. Actually, how do I learn this? Let me think about this. I don't know how I figured this out, because I'm sure there are like some miscellaneous, because I don't remember finding anyone that explicitly taught me anything in particular. I don't remember watching tutorial videos. I think what more than likely happened is that if you watch time-lapse videos, right, is very quick, but you can still notice certain things. Like for example, the fact that, let's say for example, I'm selecting just the clothing, right? You see like the dotted line from the selection. If you watch a time lapse, depending on how the time lapse is produced, sometimes you will see some of these things too. If it's Clip Studio's time lapse export over here, you wouldn't see it. But if it's like a recorded screen thing, you will see it. And you will notice how people move their mouse, or you will notice that these things, hey, how did they select this? How did they do this? How did they do that? And now you have an idea like this might be possible. And then I'll Google it. It's like, hey, how do you select this? Or how do you do that? And then sometimes you find something, sometimes you don't find something, right? But if you have seen enough, like if you're just constantly looking at stuff like this, eventually you would just be like, oh, okay, I've seen this before. That must be what they were doing before. That must be what the other artist is doing before. You know, something like that. I don't remember how I figure out exactly like control clicking and selecting and stuff like that. I don't know if there's anything here that would hint at that either. But yeah, unfortunately, maybe it's just an exposure thing. You just have to keep going around looking at things, I suppose. I'm gonna push this up here. Am I doing anything? Oh no, I have my selection on again. Shadows. Gonna be lighter here. We might throw in some grays here, I suppose. Like you see this nonsense with the grays. I noticed people do like blue and grays for like the reflected light, even if there's no environment, right? And it's only because I've seen that before I feel like I can accept even trying something like this. Otherwise, like this looks so weird just in a vacuum, because nothing else has that sort of same lighting applied yet. So this is the first one, and as a result, it looks a bit weird. I give the clothing a bit more color, perhaps. Darker stuff. Sometimes I like to pick the color of the lines. Like right now, the lines originally are just black, but if the lines themselves had some color, sometimes they interact with the colors you put in a way that creates a darker shade that might just be like the one that you want. So I kind of like the soft light process, because it kind of inherently gives you a little bit more like that, perhaps. And the brighter side. I don't want that. Do I want that? Okay, I've been using my mouse to paint the whole time. Like this like giant gradient thing, because it's easier for me to have my one hand on the keyboard. That doesn't make sense to you guys because you can draw with one hand on the keyboard still, but for me I can't because the tablet will fall. But anyways, yeah. It kind of sucks, right? Because at the end of the day, it's still the same answer to the question, which is just do more, experiment more, try more things. But like, yeah, you know, do more. What exactly, that is hard to pin down, because it really is just like what inspires you, what makes you want to draw, and then you just try stuff in that direction, I guess. Yeah, this is just really aggressively desaturated to the point where it doesn't make a lot of sense, unless other lighting kind of follows that same setup, where maybe the main part is a bit more saturated. I'm gonna leave it like this anyways. Just a little bit, perhaps. Just a little bit here as well. Yeah, the one thing that I still haven't really worked out yet in the process thing is that if this is kind of extreme, right? But let's say, for example, we have some kind of glow. It doesn't have to be glow. It could just be a base color. Okay, yeah, maybe I should stick to normal for now. But like, if let's say I want some glow from like the ties here, reflecting the light, for example, into the camera, and then you get some bloom like that. This, I think, ideally still makes sense to be done at the very end of the process. But I wonder if there's any situations where I want to tune the, like, let's say I would tune the colors like this right now. And then I will actually paint over this. rather than leaving this layer at the very top here, at the very end here. Let me turn this off again. This glow thing at the very end here, like, so option one is, I think this makes sense, right? So I would paint stuff underneath like this. I will do stuff underneath and so on and so forth. But then I will leave the gradient on top to apply evenly. But maybe there are situations where instead of doing this, I will paint on top with the gradient already applied instead. I don't know why I might be doing this though. Actually, doing this right now, I feel really stupid. But I don't know. Just a thought. I think this thing I haven't really fully confirmed yet. I think this makes a lot of sense. Sorry, the other one makes a lot more sense other than this. But the benefit of this is that you get more, I guess, more colors to work with because your gradient is already kind of in there. But of course, if the gradient's in there now, the values are changed already, right? So later on, you can't put more gradients on. If not, you get a lot stronger. You get a lot brighter. Maybe more bright than we would like. Kind of thing. But yeah. And anyways, so after this point, it's just all painting. I'm gonna also delete this. I don't like this. At this point now, it's just all painting. And then this is the part where it's the thing that I was working out today. Because you're gotten to a point where you have multiple base layers, each one with their own shadow layer right over here. We have 3 base layers, each one with their own shadow layers on top. And each one of these layers, the 6 total layers, have their own gradient setup in there. Yes, have a good night, Raz. Thank you for coming. But now then there's the problem of where do you do the paint over? Well, sure, I think you should give people the benefit of the doubt. Because you look at what I'm doing on stream, right? Like, I feel like most people, maybe they're giving answers like those that are vague because they themselves, they don't necessarily know what's happening. Like, art itself is inherently a very complicated process, as you can probably tell by now. And not everybody is trying to break stuff down as cleanly and as clearly because there's no need, right? You're drawing it something because you feel something. Drawing is about sort of delivering that emotion. And there are people like Piotego who just enjoys the process. So to them, everything comes very naturally. And to them, it's very hard to tell you specifically what to do to get something specific. To them, everything just kind of happens. There's like some things that I'm sure that you get more naturally compared to other people. And they will have to spend more time thinking about the process rather than just doing it. I get what you're saying, right? Why can't people who knows what they're doing just kind of explain a little bit more, you know? But maybe they don't really know what they're doing. You know, we're like 1,200 something hours into this stupid ass stream thing. Maybe more than that, way more than that now. By now, I'm sure. And then even now, I'm still kind of fuzzy about this entire nonsense. And this is kind of what I've been thinking about constantly when I'm doing this too. I think I spent like half the stream just talking about stupid shit and all the things that didn't work. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily, you know, people are not doing it to be malicious, I'm sure. What was that? There's 2 things, right? Okram's razor and there's another one too. Oh no, that's Chekhov's gun, I think. I think Okram's razor is the one that is like, do not what's the word? Do not think that it's malice when it can be a, you know, what's it, accounted for by incompetence or something like that. Not to call people incompetent, but like most of the time, like everyone's just kind of figuring shit out. Everything is just a huge mess in life. Nobody knows what they're doing or if they're doing things the right way. And some people just choose not to think about it anymore, you know. And I think that's fair. I want some gradient on this, but there's 0 gradient can I do with this? What if it gets even more blue over here? Would be interesting, I suppose. Wow, so interesting. How about you? More blue? I want to group colors together a little bit. Huh. this whole grouping thing as well that Uni was talking about before, with the brightness grouping. But ever since the idea of grouping has been put in my mind, it starts to make a lot more sense. I feel like things just kind of work better if you can actively group them together. Although now that I see my other monitor, this is really dark, is it? The contrast is decently high against the ties, but I think that's kind of the point of their clothing design. But anyways. %, 100%. No, I think it's also very, very understandable to be angry, to be frustrated, because, like, surely, like, how do I say this, right? Like, surely they can do better than just saying just draw. Surely they can say something a little bit more, or like at least explain what they have been through, rather than 2 words, you know. Not to say that necessarily that's all they answered, right? Because I don't know exactly what you're referring to, Show. But I do think like it's, you know, you can see both sides, right? Like sometimes someone asks you something and you also don't really know, and you just regurgitating answers, or you just don't really want to entertain too much because you're tired. That's also understandable. Like it's just a mismatch of expectations. You're expecting maybe them to be in a certain sort of state of mind and with certain amount of experience, with certain amount of understanding of the subject, but maybe they don't have that. Maybe like the assumptions are just all mismatched, and then them is maybe they have some also preconceived notions about why you're asking certain questions instead of just doing things. Maybe from their point of view, it's like, yeah, you know what, just do shit, bro. Stop asking questions. Just do it. You know, like those like parents like out there who are like, whose parenting style is just do what I say, don't ask why, you know. Like maybe that's how they were raised and this and that. Like things are really complicated. That's why it's understandable. I think all this miscommunication and all the fights and all the potential communication issues out there that you kind of see on a day-to-day basis, this and that. I had a very similar experience just like 2 days ago, actually. I was talking to a manager at work via Teams, and we don't talk a lot. I haven't really talked to this person before, but we have very different ideas of what was expected to have been done, right? And as a result, our communication just like completely broke down because I'm telling her some things that I have done with some preconceived assumptions and notions that is completely a 180 from what she had. So when I told her the stuff, she got confused and she said some other things that I got confused because I couldn't possibly understand how she is thinking of stuff like that when this was the case. But that was not the case, right? That was just my assumption. It's a whole fucking mess. And then in the end, good thing I don't have to, you know, work with them too often. But in the end, resolved itself. A higher manager got brought in. Anyways, the whole mess. Long story short, I'm not fired, so that's fine. Yeah, man. But Chloe style when sketching Ria stuff is like, yeah, this one is hard, man. just draw more. You gotta feel the flow of the lines with the Varys. You gotta flow the lines. Like you gotta not draw a line from point A to point B, but you got to feel the individual curves along this line. You have to feel like, oh, this is a bit more bougier here than this, and then just let your hand do the work. It's gonna not work for like the first 100 lines, but the 101st line is gonna be great. So you just have to draw more. That's unironically probably the actual answer I would give though, because it's not really a good explanation for this 100%. This one is hard. Sorry, just to go back to this nonsense real quick, because I haven't been drawing. But this was the thing I was talking about. The current step right now requires me to do paint over, and this paint over process is kind of the awkward one, I think. Because if I want to get rid of the lines, I have to paint over everything. But now I can bleed all over the place, right? I can destroy this edge. So that's kind of awkward. I can also just do paint over on each one of these layers. But then it goes back to not being able to cover up the lines now because the lines are on top. So I think maybe PL-Tegu's setup is the correct one. You have your individual selection layers at the bottom, and then you paint over everything on the top. This way you have the maximum freedom and control over everything while staying flexible. Wow, dang. She really got this figured out. Dang. So by some the general direction is to address feels awake. Yeah. You see, show. You see, the most important thing to not getting disappointed in life is just to not expect anything from people. It's very sad, but that's what I do on a daily basis. I don't expect anything, so I never get disappointed. Not as much, at least. You do kind of go into like faster restaurants expecting people to serve you food, you know, but this is a whole different rant. But yeah, just have lower expectations. It's fine. Are you sure you're asking the right questions? Oh, that's interesting now. That was very meta. Oh, uni, you just keep lines on a different layer, erase it and again away. Oh, okay. I think that's fair. That's also viable. Yeah, that's for sure viable. I'm just trying to figure out what's the most smooth way where I don't have to necessarily hop to a different layer. I know this is rich coming from the person who has 200 layers before, right? But, you know, change has to start with the spirit, I suppose. But yes, that would be a great way as well. Like ideally, maybe like the rough lines would not even be here. But yeah, we're talking about the premise, with the premise being that there's a rough set of lines. Erasing it. Right. I guess that is fine, right? The concern of erasing is jumping to a different layer, but that's fine. And also with a disjointed set of application of colors, I suppose that's not really. Yeah, I know, right? Like it's jumping back and forth. Anyways. What did Show ask before? I don't think the stuff Show asked was like very vague though, right? It was pretty specific, was it not? Because he was asking specifically about like the stuff that I've done, like how did I split the stuff onto different layers, how do I do the selection and stuff, and how did I find that out, right? Those are pretty specific stuff, is it not? And while the answer was to just like do more stuff and be more exposed to stuff, I think the questions were pretty specific. Because I think if Show was asking something really generic, I would have asked for clarification. Because I think before people were asking about how to get better at art, and my first instinct is to just, what do you mean by better? Right? Like where are you now? What have you been working on? So I think the fact that I didn't really get into that whole like technicality thing is probably proof, at least to me, that I think Show's questions were decently specific. Anyways, nonsense, this and that. Art sucks. Don't do art, guys. If you guys can find happiness somewhere else, I urge you to find happiness somewhere else. But if you've been cursed like me, who want to do art, then there's only one way about it. Fortunately, it is to grind. In that vids, I asked a question in that vids if you want to see that kind of. I asked the question in that vids if you want to see what kind of question I would ask. Sorry, Dewey, I'm not really sure I'm understanding what you're saying. I asked a question in that if you want to see what kind of question I would ask, I think that makes sense to me. What's the first? I asked a question in that first if you want to see. In the comment section? Sorry, what video are we talking about here? Were we watching a video today? Right. Right, well, Seaman is like that, you know. Anyways, I mean, I would like to see it, like what kind of example questions you would ask. I just don't know what video you're talking about. Did we go through a video today? Seaman exam. You don't want to see it. As a typo and a half. Oh wow, that's a good typo. That's a good typo, yeah. Seaman example. You're painting like Zeph. Ah, yes, thank you. Search Google for mute tab, yes, muted. Alright, where's Duvay's comment? Oh, here. Did I sequence value into my notes? Sorry, I'm getting distracted again because I'm thinking about this nonsense again. I think it's implied. I don't want to imply anything though. I have to be explicit in my process. So let me just add one word here and get right back to this. Right. Yeah, very, very explicit, right? Very explicit. How can I get proportions correct of human body? I mess up the part between the rib and pelvis. That's a rage bait if they just said just draw. If they have reasonable amount of experience, right? It depends on who you're asking, 100%. But if it's someone who is like very clearly competent, and all they say is just draw, it's either a rage bait or they just don't value you and your question. Because there's a million things to talk about. There's a lot of things you can try, right? Like practicing construction, doing like an in-depth study across different artists and see how much space they're leaving behind. Find the ratio between the torso and the pelvis, between the size of the torso and the pelvis and that space in between. You know, like a lot of things you can get into like the details of, I feel like, with that. Yeah, messing up the proportion, right? That's the implication, right? Get the proportions correct. So the implication is the proportion of it. Just draw. Do you think of the number of like answer, like the words in the answer that you got compared to the question that you sent? Wow, look at that proportion. Amazing. 500 words detailing my specific situation and question. Just draw. Yeah. Hell yeah. My art problems are solved. Hello. Huzzah. Dang. Why haven't I thought of that? Lag. Find a reference. I would argue find a reference and draw is still like too vague, I think. Alright, the vase answer is also yeah, it's like just get good, guys. You get good or you get God. Hell yeah. Am I stupid? Okay, what the hell is this? Why is the arm just disconnected here? Oh my god. Oh, hello? Are you stupid? Oh my god. What is this, dude? How do you do this? Alright. Did you get completely auto-modded? I'll just relay your message again, Duvay. Right, okay, so this is my other pet peeve. Sorry. I'm gonna start ranting about stupid shit that's not necessarily related. But when a restaurant or when any person offers a service, but they don't follow through with it, that's what gets me. Like, if you tell me that I'm allowed to like get a custom sandwich from your shop, I'm going to make a custom sandwich that I like. right? And I'm expecting you to make that sandwich the way I customized it. Or you shouldn't offer this option in the first place. Oh my god, I got so pissed. Because I asked for extra shit. And they just refused to do it. Like, what do you mean? Like, it says in your menu and you guys took my order. Like, if you guys are not gonna do it, just tell me no. I'm okay with that. But don't take my order and not do it. After making me wait for 40 minutes for a sandwich. Like, what? Okay, maybe the wait has a bit of problem here too. But anyways, yeah. You know. This is it's just random rent. Yeah, well, I mean, it's difficult. Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, sometimes we're not really just like wanting to get a lot out of anything, you know. It's just we're just expecting it to work in the common sense way of that word, I guess. Because maybe not everyone has, again, mismatch of expectation. That's why the matching expectation is like the single most important thing. That's why I like to anything I do, like other for example, the Discord channel. When I made it, I was clear about the fact that I'm not gonna be very active in it because I want to set the expectation correctly. Because I don't know what anyone, like, people come in with all sorts of different experiences, right? Maybe they came in from a different Discord channel when it's like super active. Maybe when they think of Discord channel, they think, oh shit, dailies, weeklies, this and that, you know, like. But I'm not gonna do any of that, so I'm just gonna make sure that that's clear. If I can. But yeah, anyways, that's a whole random nonsense. But anyways, coming back to this nonsense, I guess I'm just randomly rendering right now. Mostly just trying to get rid of the stupid ass lines with the local color that I've already decided that I want to have here by way of the gradients, right? I don't really know what the shoe is like. I'm just gonna do like a round shape, but oh my god, my screen keeps flashing black. Please stop. Yeah. It's just kind of how life is, I think. They shouldn't be expected to answer. But sometimes people just don't communicate ideas clearly, right? They don't communicate the fact that they're not in the mood to answer, or they don't communicate the fact that they don't want to answer. But then again, you know, that in and of itself is like, you know, why do they have to be expected to communicate this as well? You know, like, what is the expectation here? Like, technically speaking, I guess my streams are meant to be for me to work. It's not necessarily expected for me to be communicating at all, even. But that's also not necessarily very clearly communicated, I suppose. Not that that's a problem here, by the way. I think at least for you guys will know that if I don't want to do something, I probably just say that I don't want to do it. But yeah, I don't know. Things are not so clear in life. Oh man, this is all everything is everything selected. Frustration being pushed on someone else. I suppose. I think it's a process. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, the virus, but like, I feel like there's a beauty in like the fact that I feel like, I don't know. To me, it feels like innocence. To me, it feels like not having the expectation and just only ever blaming yourself for making a wrong decision, and just like is kind of how the work should like is gonna work. It's just really hard to expect anything from anyone. But I feel like the fact that you can still like trust someone to answer your questions is kind of beautiful in a way. Uh, I guess that's besides the point. But regardless, I think I don't know. Slowly losing faith in humanity over time. Just being like, yeah, I'm not expecting anyone for anyone anymore. Anything for anyone anymore. Everything sucks. Life sucks. People suck. Oh my god, I'm so miserable. Oh, I don't want to do nothing no more. Take me home, country roads. What is the muscle thing here again? Oh, right, like they like to do the fold, right, don't they? Do you see the fold in this angle? Them armpit enthusiasts. Something. Yeah, it's this is yet another very human thing, right? Because it feels like you're talking about someone specifically. Or maybe that is. Oh, wait, hang on. Anyways. Everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. It's fine. I don't want to do art no more. It's time for me to play games. Play games. When would I ever get to just sit down and do nothing? My god. Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core is out in like 5 days. Let's go. Come on, let's play. Server wide Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core. I don't have enough colors, I feel like. There should have been more colors before I started rendering, I think. It feels like that's not enough. Ah, stop flashing my screen, stop. Probably it. Don't worry, guys. One day we get like Elon Musk will finish his stupid neural chip, and everyone can just communicate telepathically. Everyone will know exactly what everyone else means, and have full context to any and all situations they were discussing about, and be on the exact same page. Like, can you imagine? I sometimes get those YouTube videos that like that's like experimenting with slime mold. Like this yellow thing that just kind of like has like a bunch of, it's just like a gel or something, I don't know, it just kind of spreads. That thing communicates with other colonies of Slimo. It's kind of crazy. If like one Slimo ate something that it doesn't like, it will communicate that information to another Slimo in like some, like that's completely separate to itself when they make contact. So now the other Slimo also knows that, hey, this thing is kind of bad, huh? That's gonna be us, humanity. Wow. Hello, hello, wizard. Yes, welcome. Welcome to whatever the hell this is. I don't know how it feels like to watch my art streams at all. Maybe it's entertaining, maybe it's not. But personally, as the like when I don't have a good idea, like good conviction behind what I'm drawing, I just feel like it's a waste of time for you guys. Because I'm not really fully committed to this either. I don't really know why I'm doing this. I'm just kind of doing things, right? And I feel like a good use of you guys' time, you know. Surely you guys would benefit more doing something else. Not to say that you guys are not doing that, I suppose. Things can happen at the same time. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, things still exist when you don't see them anymore. Stupid screen. I see. The ramblings of a madman and a lot of Control Z at the top right, left corner. I think is this a tablet thing or is this like a Clip Studio thing? I don't know. Kind of forgot. Now it's looking more and more weird. I didn't, you know, sketch this with the intention of rendering, right? So that she doesn't have a head. Now it looks weird that she doesn't have a head. The more I go down this path, the weirder it's gonna look. Occasionally impressive works. Thank you. Get to know that I get to occasionally have that, at least. I don't remember what if I've done anything really cool on stream, actually, honestly. I feel like a lot of stuff I did before I started streams are still way better than anything that we have done here. Oh, maybe just the horse girl one. Shit, what's her name? The pink one. Haru Urara. Render a ball instead of her head. I actually don't really dislike shit like this now, where it's like such a mess. I'm slowly turning around to like the whole render, like the whole painterly kind of style. Taking a while, but I'm slowly getting there. Not necessarily because I like this for what it is, but rather because how much I hate cleaning stuff up now. I just really don't like to clean stuff up anymore. That's so much effort. Yeah, I don't have enough colors here at all. Like, this needs more variation somehow. I didn't even select this yet. Sorry, I'm not on the right layer. Oh yeah, no one said that I couldn't just do both sequences, no? Okay, let me think. Right, then I don't have to worry about this, right? I bump around instead of selecting. Because what's the difference right now if I'm not painting over... Oh, I'm painting over the lines. That's true. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Don't worry about it. Nothing important. Nothing of value is lost. If you didn't understand my ramblings, which I'm not expecting anyone to. Rendering ball. Brighter, bluer, brighter. Yeah, this part is probably not drawn correctly. There should be another thing underneath. Yeah, it's probably missing something. Rendering needs a lot of work, that's for sure. This feels more like a color rough still, rather than any rendering per se. So much on this. And most is like here, I guess. Screen is black, screen is black. The blackouts on my screen is actually getting longer, which is kind of concerning. It used to come back a lot faster than what it is doing recently. Our countdown is going. This tablet is dying. Very, very clearly and perceivably dying. What? Why is the red still selected? Huh? Can I fix that? I wonder if it's like a sad thing or like a happy thing. If I use something, it would stop working, right? Like, oh yeah, no, sure, for sure. Like, this is what we're here for. The human experience. I taught my Japanese friend this word, the human experience, this phrase. And I just tell them, like, anytime you make a mistake or something, or like you give in to your desires or have a guilty pleasure, just say it's the human experience. You know, it is human, right? To err is human. Having all these communication things is a very human experience. I think it's great. There's never really a proper solution to anything, ever. It's still interesting to talk about, I suppose. Can relate. 100% can relate. My screen is killing me. Stop. Is it the wire sagging or something? Maybe I'm not positioning. I don't know what to do here. Maybe we'll just do something round here, perhaps. And then like the clothing near the middle, we can have some hints of like buttons with like, I don't know, like pulling on the shirt with the buttons or something. And the buttons don't even exist. Perfect. Absolutely amazing. Congratulations. Congratulations. Someone's showing shade. Is that right now? Is that right? It's Wizard. Yeah, I do enjoy the question from Cho. I feel like it's not quite how I was like before, for sure. I don't think I was a lot less enthusiastic when it comes to asking questions and discussing stuff in the past. But yeah, anyone right now who still wants to pursue art, I think it's important to keep the flame going, right? Because otherwise, this is it. You know, like AI come in, we're like the last generation, perhaps even. There are so many jobs before computers came about, right? So many important jobs. But then once computers came about, like it's all gone. You know. I'm sure like a good portion of like well, what's the word? Like human culture, something would be lost as a result of AI replicating and just duplicating shit and then causing people to lose interest, causing people to stop innovating, perhaps. Well, maybe not stop innovating. I'm sure the innovators are always going to innovate, but we're going to lose so much shit to this. Yes, pursue art. Pursue some kind of creative pursuit. I'd say is worthwhile. And then meanwhile, I'm complaining about art, this and that, but there is some things that you can only get from I think grinding this. This is the oh, it is remixed. Oh, look at that. It's okay. I can just read the Discord, the chat history if I want to. It's all good though. It's okay, guys. You guys can't be worse than like some of the the furry chats that I've been in. No comment, by the way. Yeah, I don't have enough shapes to work off of. like all these things. I don't know what to do here. And I'm not emotionally invested enough to care. I'm just gonna leave this. Not even enough values, I feel like some of these places are kind of... let's just say that my pass up is probably a lot more unhinged than what you guys probably think of. This is just generically darker. And then maybe they're like both somehow from here or something. I don't know. It's still a bit of a mess. Anyways, yeah, sure. Like going back to your original thing about painting, right? So this is just painting over the lines at this point. I don't know if I like it, if I'm being honest. I think honestly, trying this out after talking to you and trying this out, I think what I would like to do is be comfortable and good enough at lines so that after the initial very faded light sketch right now that you see, this new sketch will be clean enough to use as line art, and then I would just not paint over it until the very, very, very end, where like stuff like hair or certain parts that I do want to paint over, I will paint over. I think that would be the best process for me. Because this kind of losing the lines again and then finding the edges again because I have to paint over some of the stuff again, it's kind of stupid. It feels very inefficient. Sorry. Also, just a quick disclaimer, I do say stuff like stupid and nonsense a lot, but I don't mean it in like a bad way. I just use it in just use it to replace words like things. Like this thing, no, this nonsense. But it's not meant to be offensive or pass judgment. If I want to do that, I'll do it more explicitly. But anyways, yeah, I think option 2 is better. This is the study wizard. I don't know if you've seen. I think you were here yesterday, right? It was yesterday, right? Things really kind of blend together when you start working and all that. Every day is like the same routine. Yeah, rough sketch, and then like value, comp, and ideas go in. Then the clean-ish sketch, which will be something clean at least to this level. I think this is still slightly messy already. Some of these areas will have to be cleaned up a little bit more. So this will be yeah, so this is great. So this is exactly what we're talking about. Yes, Abajangas, sorry, Wizard. It was because yeah, it was because you were talking about this artist yesterday, and I checked them out, and I remember that this Rossi piece that someone shared in Discord was what I wanted to study as well. Although now that I've kind of gotten here, I don't know if I've really gotten what I wanted to get out of it. But I think what I wanted to get out of it is I kind of maybe have accidentally skipped it because I didn't keep any of the sketch lines. But yeah, regardless, I really do like this specific piece. The other ones don't stand out to me as much, but this one stands out a lot to me because of something here I really like. The balance of the reds, maybe. The reds is not like that orange too, it's kind of pink. Yeah. A bit biased to that. Anything a bit more blue is very appealing to me, I think. Yeah, balance and stuff. Rendering is pretty clean. The shapes are pretty clean. There's a good amount of color variation, but not like overwhelming like the other, some of the other artists who does a lot more. Yeah, don't worry about the like sometimes messages don't go through show. Like if it's not too long, like the one that Duvet sent that was really long, I can help you relay it. But obviously I can't do that too often. So you might just have to break up the messages a little bit more. What's I talking about? Right, anyways. Right, so The piece that I wanted to do, this one here, would be precisely in this position here, where we have the rough sketch done, we have the color rough. Wow. That might need a bit more work. I think we need to have the binary set up and then more colors and more gradient first. But then we can do our line art and then I can continue and try this process. Where we find the different edges accordingly. Sorry, what is this word? A rendering, right? Gradient, right. So I need to... So this stage actually might be part of the rough then. That might be part of the rough stage. I'm gonna make corrections to my own stuff. Yeah, I remember in the past where teachers made you write the same sentences over and over to correct yourself. Dang, dude. Kindergarten or something. And this is a grouping, right? This is option 1. And then this is option 2. Alright, see you later, Wizard. Nah, I won't be streaming 7 hours. Have a safe trip. Oh, you don't think it came out on my side either? Oh, interesting. Yeah, but anyways, I'm probably hopping off here as well. This study I didn't bring it as far as I would like, but then actually stepping away and coming back, some of these shapes look very interesting. They remind me of that other artist by the name of Hase, I think. Let me see if I can find them. Their stuff is slightly lewd, I believe. But we did do a study of them before. I'm sure it's fine. Oops, that's quick. Like this artist who did a lot of GG. Also a lot of muscles now, holy shit. God damn. Like, it vaguely reminded me of like some of the hair renders, maybe? Because it's bigger, blockier shapes. It's not quite the same. That was one that we studied before. That was very similar. Also, this is a lot more sussier than I think the one Duvet shared today. It's a lot sussier, but they don't go like full explicit. I think not on this account. I don't know where the one we studied is. We definitely did one. I'm just gonna find the thumbnail actually. I'm pretty sure I made a thumbnail with that. Anatomy? No, it's like pretty late. 6. Meow, 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 meow. No, it's like way before this, right? 6, 7. No, 7. Oh, it's like this one. I suppose it is kind of different. It just kind of reminds me a little bit of maybe some of the shapes. Also, not really though. Not really. Maybe I'm confusing them with someone else. Some of these are not really too bad. Wait, did I grab this into my other sequence? I need to maybe keep this. Stand by on this. Actually, it's kind of interesting. If I review like all the old stuff I did, I wonder if I will do anything differently now. Like this rendering, I would like to maybe find the edges a little bit more. But otherwise, pretty good. That's fine as well. This is definitely too noisy. Or is it though? It kind of fits her though. Dang it, dude. No, but that means there is a way though, right? Because the iteration process does have... I'm kind of tired. I can't really think right now. I'm just thinking about the fact that like, because I've been working on some proportion iterations for sorry, let me see if I can load that up real quick. Give me a second here. Testing on this? No, new. Gonna do this real quick. Phase iter. Okay. Do not save. Alright. Where is my file? Where did it go? Where did my folder go? Here. There's this one here. Again, going back to style development, right? The whole point is to find a style, a set of stylization, which includes proportions, right, of the face, of the body, and this and that I would like. So there's like ongoing work with just trying to iterate through all the different types of faces that you can have, starting from the original, changing the eyes to be a bigger size, making it even bigger to the point where it looks weird, and then coming down and then moving the nose higher, this and that, changing things around. And what I come to realize is that it is very hard to have like something that's strictly 100% consistent. Like the way I feel about certain things now is so unstable. Like I can feel it like that it's good now, and then later on I come back, it's not good anymore, and stuff like that. That being said, throughout this process, I find that there is maybe a better, more structured way to work at it. So what I, for example, could do is I would have a sheet like this, right, where there's a whole bunch of stuff laid out side by side. Every time I iterate something, I will have a different text describing what the change is. And then when I feel like things are not good, I will make a note of what I think is not good. Maybe not sure why it's not good. Just make a note of that. This is the reason why, and I'm changing it because of that. Then I'll do a new iteration. And then we'll do as many iterations as we can in one sitting. Until it gets to the point where I feel like I'm overwhelmed or it just doesn't make any sense anymore. I'll just leave everything and then I'll come back. But because I have written it out and structured it in a very clear format, right, I can always start from the beginning again. And then I can see if I agree with the decisions I made before. So in this case, the black text is literally stuff that I just changed. So just bigger eyes and even bigger eyes. But then now I feel weird, right? If I feel weird now, again, just like before, I'll just double check. Hey, I feel weird because big eyes. Yeah, sure. Maybe it's because the eyes are big. But maybe it's because there's not enough space here. Maybe it's not so much that the eyes are big, but because maybe we need more space here. So now we can have a new iteration here where the eyes are slightly just as big, right? But with just more space. And I can see if I like that better now. Oh, I kind of broke the thing, I guess. And now I feel like it's maybe slightly better. Then now I know a little bit more about why I don't like it before. Or maybe it's because it's not just because it's big, but because it's big and kind of round like this. Maybe I just need to make it not as round, perhaps. And I will do this with the symmetry ruler, so it's always symmetrical, but right now we don't have that available right now. And so maybe it's better. But then when it gets better, then I can go back and take one step back. Hey, did I just draw the same thing again? You know? And I'm just kind of going back and forth in through this entire list. But yeah, and then I'm doing the same thing for like body stuff, but like that's for a different purpose, and it has a very different set of requirements. Ah yes, thank you, Uni. See you soon. Have a good night. Yes, no, thank you. Thank you for joining and your opinions, of course. Very, very cool. Let's see. Sorry, I was talking about? Right, yeah. I was thinking maybe I should do the same for my style thing. Because, like, styles, we're kind of bouncing back and forth. There's no sort of, like, this thing kind of serves its own, has its own kind of, has its own sort of charm to it, right? The messiness of the lines and the heavy use of lines and all that has its own charm. And I'm wondering if I should just lay all of these out on, like, a pure ref and start taking a bunch of notes and being like, you know, I like it for ABC, I don't like it for XYZ. And then, like, would it work? Would it work for this? Would it not work for that? And this and that. And then we have it all laid out. And every day I'll just walk through this ref sheet and be like, hey, do I feel the same? Did I see anything different? Did anything that I experienced recently made me change my opinion or change my mind and stuff? Yes, Duvet, that ref shift, although this one here, it's not relevant for streams purposes. Not for a few years, I don't think. By then, I'll have like different stuff yet again, I think. Although that being said, if this thing, but it will take a different. Oh no, I don't think it's possible. Because this is done for a very specific requirement. So some of the proportions and design and ideas that are done here is very much aligned to that purpose. So if, say, I want to just turn this into a normal, like a neutral ref sheet for Rhea, I don't think it's possible because there's a lot of built-in stuff. You have to start from scratch. As like a more generic design-related reference rather than like a reference that serves a very specific purpose. So the short answer is no. The long answer is, I don't know what I'm doing. Wow. Amazing. Oops. Yeah. I don't know how much I want to talk about the other thing just yet, so I'm not going to talk about it. But in the specific requirements for that one, it's not just about the proportions. And there are other requirements that are causing me to make changes to the proportion in a specific way, which is inherently means that the reference that's created is not going to be very good for representing the character 100% in its original form, and therefore it is not going to be the rep sheet for Rhea. But yeah, anyways, I think tomorrow I would like to continue on this a little bit more. I think there's definitely a lot of work to be done, right? All these like areas in the darker parts I can refine, add one more layer of shadow and like shapes and stuff like that. But I actually kind of find this part pretty nice. Like this part here is pretty nice. There is not a lot of work done, right? It's just the white part, the light and the part in the light, the part in the shadow, some gradients on each one, which is a very accepted sort of gradient usage, like because it's just slightly darker near the bottom, slightly brighter near the light source rather. So brighter near the light source, darker away from the light source. Then if it's darker, it follows the same formula of going a little bit more blue and a little bit more desaturated. Unless you want to go with something very specifically colorful, in which case you will have a reference and you can reference something, so that's fine. But the shapes themselves are big enough and they're still interesting enough and they're still agreeable enough, I think. And surprisingly, I think it's like somewhat agreeable. Because that wasn't how I felt about it. Like I like this shape here, like looking at the shadow shape, like all these jagged stuff, versus looking at the big bright shape, made me feel very different things. And I do mean this as like from afar. Like from afar, if I look at this, if my eyes happen to lock onto the light, it's fine. If my eyes lock onto the shadow, it wants to do something, change something. Or maybe I'm just tired. I don't think that should be the case though. I think it should be the same. Maybe I'm just tired, but anyways. Yeah, I like to refine this a little bit more while keeping this big set of big shapes and see how much further I can push it for details. And that could actually be a good if this works, right? Because I'm not 100% copying the reference as well. That means something in me is slowly sort of aligning correctly. So it could signal the change where I can finally render hair a little bit more comfortably. This will be the true test though. If I can do it here, then we're good. If not, we're just the same as before. I guess we just keep trying. That's fine. So yeah, we're still just slowly chugging along here. Keep separate layers filled, and each one is going to be PO. Separate POs, right? So this is sorry, I'm having difficulty reading my own text. I'm not sure how if you guys can even read this, because I can't even read this sometimes, but I digress. I think I will hop off here. Thank you guys for coming and listening to me rant yet again, day after day after day. What in the world, dude? But anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the continuation of the rants, of course, not of the art. But have a good night. Yes. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for coming. Goodbye.